This episode, I start off with checking divisions that resided on the western Polish territory of modern-day Poland and giving my units artillery. But I did not do so in the last episode. The reason as to why I checked them is because I wanted to see which garrison divisions upgraded and which did not. Here I began producing interceptors, since I kind of forgot about the ones I had before and they got destroyed. And I need to guard my nuclear reactor somehow because it's going to be level 6 soon and I don't want the allies bombing it into oblivion. Here I am splitting my navy up, sending them into northern and the Atlantic Ocean, and that was a great victory against the British Navy, which confirms my strategy of, or at least confirms my suspicion of them sending multiple ships to try to deal with me. And the suspicion of them sending units will also be confirmed very well, as you can see here, that pulling sneaky naval invasions on me. Now I placed these units very strategically. 3 tank divisions in London so they can fend off 3 beachheads in Norwich, Dover and Portsmouth. 3 tanks in Exeter so they can fight off in Portsmouth and Plymouth, and 5 infantry divisions in Birmingham so they can fight off the naval invasions in Cardiff and Manchester. This system is very fragile, but with the limited units that I have inside of the United Kingdom, it's the best one that I have now. So here I finally set up the naval interdiction. I'll try my best in doing so, and the subs started putting in some work. Here I'm port striking Belfast, like I promised last episode, and I was correct about them bringing a lot of ships there, carriers, transport ships, you name it. It's all at the bottom of the sea. Destroy a few units in Cardiff. I'm researching nuclear bombs still. Yeah, I began building even more artillery to fill my units up, and I had to strategically redeploy 1 tank army to the north because I can't push them out at northern province, as you saw before. My marines were not strong enough to do so. As you can see, that was also pretty great victory. Here I'm trying to ground support the invasion, but it does not particularly go well. Not sure why, but I guess I overestimated the organization that is lost doing ground support a bit. They are landed in Glasgow and Manchester, and they're gone now. If I'm lucky, they will send more troops into areas that I've cleared out, like Manchester, and I will destroy them as well. Here I'm building infrastructure here, just in case, because I thought it was also an ESC problem that my units couldn't push because of it. Here I'm sending the units back a little bit and destroying enemy units in Manchester because I wanted to beat them in one province and encircle them in Fort William, which did not go as planned, but in the end it worked out even better than I had thought it would. Here they landed in Cardiff. I had to send tanks from London to deal with that. I researched the rockets with von Braun, and now I'm going to start going down the air doctrines tech tree because I want the Cold War air doctrines. There's one amazing doctrine that gives you a lot of stats for your units, and I want to get it as soon as possible because land doctrines through the 50s and 60s don't really offer that much, or at least that many buffs, besides the night vision tactics, which is 1950 technology. So I'm waiting for them to enter Fort William over here, which is proving to be quite futile because I don't wanna. They landed in Glasgow instead, which was nice. I'm port striking Belfast again and having pretty great results doing so. I tried to naval strike this area because they could be using ships, transport ships, to transport more units to that northern province. And my suspicion was not confirmed because I didn't sink anything. As you can see, it's going rather terribly here. And I failed in the end, which is okay, it happens. I tried to ground attack the retreating tank, but it's not enough to completely destroy it. And here we go, I'm trying to take that northern province again by ground supporting it, which did not work, unsurprisingly, because there was only 3 tanks with amphibious crossing against those units. Yeah, I'm trying to port strike the northern provinces to see if they have any ships there, and they did not. So that was a bit of a waste, but at least now I know it was free there. But not in Belfast. There are always ships, in Belfast, along with units. So here with horrible infrastructure, I tried to take back that province. I began ground supporting with tactical bombers. And what do you know? It actually worked in the end, and I destroyed those units. And researched modern blitzkrieg, which is awesome. So now I went after hunter groups next. Here I liberated Scotland and Wales, and I will keep England under occupation. So the 3 people from Scotland that watch me will be happy now. Here I took a few Bulgarian units with the intention of guarding the coasts of England with them, at least of the British Isles that I took, because I don't want to spare any German units for that cause. And Scotland and Wales do not have any units of their own yet. A few Soviet partisans running around, which is a bit annoying. Resistance carries out attacks. They have a little bit of dissent, which is not nice. So I'm deploying artillery once again. As usual, I'm ignoring the units that have a cap and strength. And I deployed those rocket interceptors and set them to asteroid above Germany. I also began building a few more naval bombers for better naval bombing, as you would have guessed. They landed in Manchester again, and they're gone again. Here I sent a few Bulgarian units to guard coasts. Research better naval infantry division and began researching motorized, which was a bit of a mistake because I thought I had motorized divisions, but I later checked and I had more mechanized. So I should have went after mechanized instead of motorized, but it doesn't really matter that much. I don't have that many things to research at the moment that don't have a penalty on a specific year. Well, besides air doctrines, of course. So now I'm trying to navally land in Belfast, well, launch an amphibious invasion onto Belfast, which is a success surprisingly, despite them having 19 units there. The ground support really helped me out a lot in that moment, which was awesome. I ground supported with tactical bombers and with naval bombers, and it seemed to make quite a bit of a difference there. As you can see, the organization is dropping very quickly, while the casualties are about equal. Usually, when the casualties are equal, it's not very nice, but I can afford it because I'm destroying units. If I wasn't destroying units and just pushing, that would be pretty bad, that the casualties are 1-1, but if I encircle them and wipe them from the game, then it's worth it. Especially 19 units. Here I really started to win and destroy them. Yeah. And I started to advance instantly into Londonderry. Oh yeah, I'm having a lot of success here right now. I also started to ground support in Londonderry sometime afterwards to make things a bit easier for my Marines, which worked. And those 19 divisions will never see the light of day again. Here I'm deploying 12 Italian units into Latvia, and with the intention of switching the 12 German units there, because I want them to invade America, of course. Here I finally finished producing the 40 submarines and I sent them out to the Atlantic. Here I got investment into research, which is nice, and I believe I got basic semiconductors there, which is nice because it helps research the research modified technology, which will speed up research. Here I am producing a few more infantry divisions to guard Iceland, Greenland and Newfoundland when I navally invade them, because I will be transporting a lot of units to those provinces. Here Scotland produced a few militia divisions which I'll use for coast guarding. I beat the American Navy there. All seems pretty well for now. Also Wales produced a few militia units as well, which is awesome. And these partisan units in which Vichy will be dealt with. I also recruited the Italians to guard the British Isles. Now I'm thinking whether or not to invade Scotland, and I think I won't touch them, because they literally did nothing wrong. I wish there would be an event where they would join me if I gave them Northern Ireland, but that's not the case. I do believe some mod has that event, but I don't know which one. Here I'm producing more self-propelled artillery for my tanks and armored units. It seems to be a pretty awesome brigade attachment from what I've experienced, so all the more reason to produce it. So they landed in Manchester again and failed. I'm curious to check the casualties that I've inflicted and received throughout this whole campaign. I'll probably do so in the next episode. Here I researched another level of nuclear technology, and I want to start building a new nuclear reactor. Now I'm researching fission bomb, as you could have seen, as you saw. Yeah, these units in Manchester are going to invade Iceland, which was probably a bit of a mistake. I should have used the Marines instead of that, but whatever. As long as it works. Another level of forts has been built on my Don line, giving the units an offensive bonus so that they'll perform better. A new nuclear reactor level has been built in Stralsund. which means that when it finishes constructing in the province, I will finally have my first atom bomb. Right, victory in Iceland, which was amazing. Decided to build up the coastal province a little bit to have a slightly better time with everything. Here I forgot to place those two Bulgarian divisions in Manchester, so I'm dealing with that little naval invasion right now. I began researching self-propelled anti-air because I want the whirlwind cannon, I believe it's called, to be unlocked and researched. It's pretty nice technology. Also, you're going to see here Japan